pretty much how I expected it to go, and I gave you guys the reasons before why I believed that Naoya Inoue would beat and stop Nonito Donaire. Okay, so I'm not surprised uh, that he had collected data from the last fight and he continued on from the last fight to do to Donaire what he should have done in the first fight, right? And I think a lot of other people realized he was going to box him a little bit more, and that's what he pretty much did. We've seen back foot boxing on display in round one. He's basically allowing Donaire to pressure him. He's boxing off the back foot, keeping range, popping that jab. The jab was again an effective weapon, and he's just much quicker, much faster than Donaire. His power comes from his speed. He's a fast boxer, sharp boxer, and so the first encounter that actually hurt Donaire, that they said Donaire was phased by, was a nice, quick left hook. It wasn't a check left hook. A check left hook is thrown differently to a counter left hook. So because Inoue is so quick, it would look like it was a check left hook, but it wasn't. It was a left hook that was not just thrown. It wasn't just a thrown left hook like this to check you, but it's actually a counter left hook, which has the full weight of the hook behind it, and he threw it very quickly. So he caught him with a counter left hook. Actually, that's not a check left hook that Brian Asana talked about. And there are two things that were working for him from very early in the fight. It was the jab, which was establishing range. He boxed him from the outside. And the second thing that was working for him was he was timing. He was timing Donaire from the get-go. I'm going to talk about something else that Buddy McGirt talks about. When you're fighting a boxer who has exceptional skills and you want to get their rhythm, and I saw Devin Haney, I saw Jamel Charlo do this. I did not get to see Scooter's fight yet, but I believe Scooter did the same thing. You mirror them. So um, you start to take on their antics. You start to take on their movements. Devin Haney was actually started to make those irregular movements that what's this guy name? I don't know if it's subconscious or not, but the really good ones do that. They start to imitate the boxer that's in front of them and the style that's in front of them in their own kind of style. And I saw Naoya Inoue using the high guard just like Nonito Donaire. He started mirroring Nonito Donaire to get his timing down, and he started popping that jab. And the thing that really got my attention was his counter jab when Donaire was coming in. So Donaire, he snapped back from the first jab, and then he threw a nice, sharp, very quick from the hip counter jab that snapped Donaire's head back. And I knew this guy's way faster than Donaire. Like, he's way quicker than Donaire. He's way sharper than Donaire. And you could tell he prepared for this fight in a different way. He decided this fight's not going to be, we're not going to be fighting in close like that, right? And before the end of the round, he hurt Donaire with the counter right, but because he was mirroring Donaire, you guys have to understand what's going on, right? He was starting to mirror Donaire's mannerisms. So Donaire kept on, again, pretty much what Devin Haney was doing, pretty much what, if you look at it as a pattern with all of these boxes, pretty much what Devin Haney was doing, pretty much what Bevo was doing, and Haney and Shakur was doing this. The guy's changing head slots, and he's watching that. And he's paying attention to everything. And so with Donaire, actually, pretty much Jerome Ennis did this as well. All the sharp boxers, they pick it up. When you're showing a side of your head to them, and you don't realize that. You're trying to block. You're actually trying to change head slots, but you actually got the wrong angle. So Donaire, at that point in time, he showed the side of his face to Naoya Inoue, and he's trying to pressure Inoue, and Inoue saw the side of his face. He wasn't blocking properly, and clipped him real quick. He clipped him with the right hand and put him down. and he was beginning to see holes in Donaire's defense as he's boxing him on the back foot. Now, after he had hurt him in the second round, in the first round, sorry, in the second round he started putting pressure on him, but he's putting pressure behind the stick. Okay, again, he's much quicker, he's much sharper than Donaire. So, and he learned from the first fight. Like I said, the experience of it and being a boxer, he learned from the first fight. So, kind of knew that Donaire likes to do counter left hooks. He likes to catch and shoot and throw the counter left hook. And Donaire was starting to tag up his body, though. Donaire was starting to work the body. But you could tell from that very first round, Donaire had been hurt pretty bad. Even though he was listening to his corner and he's putting up his hands to say, I'm fine, you could tell he was hurt pretty bad. Because he never saw the right. He never saw the counter right. He never saw the counter right. And the problem with it was, you know, the thing with Inoue is his speed. He's so quick on the draw. He's very, very sharp, very, very quick. That's why he hurts guys. It's because he's very sharp, very quick. And so his speed is his power is his speed, really. Don't get me wrong. He has a good thump, but it's really coming from the speed at which he throws. It kind of reminds me of Deontay Wilder's power. It kind of reminds me of guys from the Crunk Gym's power, how fast they throw their shots. He's very lightning fast, and I think that's his real advantage. He's very, very sharp, very, very fast. Anyways, and that comes because he came up from a lower weight class and all of that, so he be quicker than the average guy. And so that's a punch you can't really you can't fault Donaire for getting hurt from them. Anyways, in the second round, he pressured Donaire more, but he's pressuring behind his jab because his jab is very successful in this fight. He's hitting Donaire with the jab when he wants to. And so he goes behind the stick. He's pushing Donaire back behind the stick. He got Donaire in the corner, and he really started to really put the heat on him. I mean, he was countering Donaire, mostly countering him because when Donaire throws, he countered. Now, if Donaire had shelled up in the corner, if he had shelled up in the corner and dipped, which is something Donaire don't do, if he shelled up in the corner and dipped, he would have gotten below all those shots. He could have dipped and spun out and reset. But Donaire don't do that. And Inoue knows that. He knows Donaire would prefer to fight out, try to catch and shoot and counter. But he's just too slow for Inoue. And Inoue just basically picked him apart and eventually stopped him. And I was like, this fight's over. This fight's over. I knew the fight was over since he caught Donaire with the counter left hook in the second round. Once he hit him with that counter left hook, Donaire was still trying to work the body, but he was just taking too many headshots. And Noah was just picking him apart. He was just ripping shots to the body, to the head, and eventually knocked him out, as you can see in the picture, with a combination that ended in a right hand that just put him down, and he was out. He was out cold. So, like I said, I didn't expect Donaire to bring anything really new to the picture that Naoya Inoue didn't see before. I'm not surprised that he dispatched of him so quickly. That's not surprising to me. You know, Donaire's on his way out of the game, and Inoue's still coming up on the scene. So it's not really surprising to me. I expected Inoue to be bigger and stronger. He was bigger and stronger. And so, I mean, it is what it is. You know, a lot of people, I listen to Brian Osuna like going nuts on the thing because of the knockout and everything. And I'm like, yeah, but you didn't expect that. You didn't expect Inoue to beat up on an old guy. I mean, the old guy is exceptional, but he's not really facing guys of Inoue's experience and status. He's not facing that on a regular. The guy I want to see Inoue face is John Rael Casimiro. I think Casimiro brings a level of unorthodoxness to the fight game, and I think that's the guy that he should have been facing, his contemporary. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that fight. Now that he has got the WBC title, hopefully he won't, hopefully he will face John Rael Casimiro. That's the dude I want to see him face. I was Never really interested in a rematch with Nonito Donaire, um, because I thought Donaire gave his best in the first fight. And even though I could argue that Donaire, even with the knockdown, he had to fight close. A lot of people didn't believe that. They thought he was just tough, but he was really beating up Inoue in that first fight. I didn't expect the second fight to be competitive because this is a smart boxer, uh, and as I said before, is a smart boxer. He's learned from that experience. He's grown from that experience. He's going to become better from that experience, and that's pretty much what happened. And so this is not surprising to me. I even said he possibly stopped Donaire um, in the fight. I'm not shocked that he stopped him so early. It's like a continuation of when he hurt Donaire in the first fight in the 11th round, 10th round, I think it was, and then was really kind of beating him up. I think it's just a continuation of that, but in a better way because he uses speed, he uses boxing IQ to beat. And when I say boxing IQ, I mean he didn't go out there trying to overpower Donaire and get in a toe-to-toe battle. He was picking his shots and picking off Donaire from range, so he wasn't in any trouble. And I wanted to talk a little bit about mirroring opponent because I thought that that's something that I'm seeing now. I've seen it now a number of times with these boxers. These boxers, to get their opponent's rhythm, they start to imitate them. And it's something that Buddy McGirt did with Pernell Whitaker, which was what made the fight so close because it was kind of mirroring. But you got to take it further. You can't just mirror your opponent and do what they do. You have to now, the mirroring's to get the opponent's timing. That's what you want. You want the opponent's timing, so now you can throw your punches in between that timing, and you can watch it, their habits and their behaviors, and it makes it very easy. Once you get their rhythm or their timing, it really makes the fight very easy for you, and you're in control. And that's something, again, that's an aspect of boxing they don't talk too much about, and I like that Buddy McGirt brings it up. We talk about things like power and speed, and they're cool, but it's really the timing of your opponent, and one of the ways to do it is to mirror your opponent, to start to make your adjustments to the opponent and what the opponent's doing. Sometimes it's to mirror them. And when you're a versatile boxer, you can do that. You can mirror another style, and so make it easier for yourself now to deal with that style because you got that timing down. So I thought the key to this fight was the fact that Inoue is just faster and sharper than Donaire, and he's better in every single way. He's just a much more improved version of Donaire, and he's quicker on the draw and everything. And then he didn't just rely on his reflexes and his speed and his skill, his power through the speed, because speed kills. But he actually started with the fundamentals. He used his jab, and his jab was so very, very effective. His jab is what made everything happen for him in that fight. And once he landed his first jab, he was mixing it up to the body and the head. It was over. It was over. That fight was pretty much over. And he's a boxer puncher, so go figure. So that's the fight. What you need in the building, for those of you. So far I've been right with my predictions, which is cool. Dead on the money, and I'm really happy about that. Very soon I'll be able to give people who bet and stuff. I'll be able to really do right predictions for people who want to bet and stuff on fights. Seeing that my record is really pretty good, I realize I can predict fights pretty well. And sometimes now without watching it as a boxer, because I don't need to sometimes watch boxers fight. What I've realized about boxing is there's a kind of pattern to things in boxing. I didn't realize that until now. And successful boxers do certain things, which we all know this, but I'm just saying, and it's not just how quick your reflexes are. The God gifting that Inoue has, the God gifting that he has, he doesn't depend on that. He depends on his fundamentals, his skills is really what he depends on more than his God gifting, which is his quick twitch, very fast. He works on his God gifting through his skills. So he's going to be a very, very difficult fighter to beat as he moves up in weight as well, which is good because I would love to see him against, say, for example, Cool Boy Steph. But I also want to see him against John Rael Casimero because John Rael Casimero, kind of like Manny Pacquiao, is a sort of unorthodox fighter. And it's strange because once I say John Rael Casimero, a lot of people are like, because Casimero was trying to get that fight with Inoue. He's trying to get that fight with Inoue. Inoue is like, nah. Which is really interesting. I don't know why that happened, but I would like to see John Rael Casimero versus um, Naoya Inoue. That's the fight I want to see. And it's very interesting. Once I say John Rael Casimero, a lot of people immediately run. A reaction. I don't know why, because I think Inoue has what it takes, honestly speaking, to beat a John Rael Casimero. I mean, John Rael Casimero, he is a counter puncher. He's not super, super duper fast. He's a bit awkward. And I think the Inoue I saw, uh, even though he kind of knew what he was up against Donaire. But if he keeps that same sharpness, that same speed, keeps his conditioning well, keeps his fundamentals, he might be able to keep John Casimero in check, not actually help make him close the distance, because he's very very sharp. So I don't really see what other people are seeing. I'm seeing this guy looks like he could, uh, you know, handle John Rael Casimero from what I just saw in the fight there. And it's not necessarily that he would handle him exactly how he did Donaire, but I'm just saying he's so sharp, and he if he sticks with the fundamentals, which is the jab, and he tries to keep it long against Casimero, I don't see a problem because I've seen Guillermo Morega now. Once he keep it long with Casimero, Casimero ain't got really nothing to do. Casimero just throwing that air. So Casimero has, Casimero has some uh, uh, some deficiencies to his game because he's a mid-range fighter, and he has to engage at mid-range. That's where he's most effective. So I mean, I don't really see, you know, people are like, as soon as I say John Rael Casimero, folks be running for the hills, and like now Inoue be running for the hills. What you running for the hills for? There's no need. Anyway, this is what you need in the building. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace.